Hey there, I'm Lydia Walker, and in this video I want to share a little bit more about my story. I posted my testimony and my story about coming to Christ, but today in this video I want to share with you about my love story and what our love story looked like, how it came to be. So if you watched my video, I'll link to it if you haven't seen it yet, but watch my testimony. And I do believe that God has worked in my life in many different ways, and one of those ways is bringing me my husband and bringing me the right person at the right time and matching us together. But it didn't just happen then. I believe that so many things were happening to bring that together throughout my whole life. I know that my mom had been praying for my future spouse my entire life, and I think that's a huge part of it. And also I was praying for my future spouse and trying to be the right person to attract the kind of person that I would want to marry and have a family with and grow old with. So I wanted to share a little bit about my story. When I was in middle school and high school, I went through the True Love Waits program at church, which is about saving yourself for marriage and protecting your heart, guarding your heart and protecting your purity, specifically saving sex for marriage, but also guarding your heart towards anything that would keep you away from God and anything that would be bringing any baggage or impurity into your marriage. Marriage is a covenant between a man and a woman and between God, and it should be a very sacred thing. And I do believe that it should not be taken lightly. So with all of that in mind, I had been praying for my future spouse and praying for my husband. I wrote out a list of things that I wanted in a husband, and one of the top things was that he would be a Christian, that he would be a godly man, and someone who loved God more than he loved me. And I knew that that would overflow into his entire life, and that I wanted to marry a man of character. So throughout high school, I dated a few people that I thought might be the one, and they had different characteristics that I liked, but it just wasn't the right fit, and it didn't work out. So I was heartbroken a few times, and I questioned God, and I said, you know, why am I not ready? Why is this not the one? And I just decided that I was going to wait on my own and just try to be the right person for someone. And it's funny how this happened, but as soon as I gave up on trying to make it happen, or gave up being frustrated about it and just decided to trust God, that's exactly when I met my husband, David. So the day that we met, I got my hair cut kind of like this. I decided to chop it off because I thought guys liked long hair, and if I wasn't trying to attract any guys, I wasn't trying to date, then I would just chop it off, be my own person, and wait on my own. And a few hours later, I met David, and I was singing at church. I was leading worship for the college group, and my husband walks in. Well, of course he's not my husband yet, and I didn't know that yet, but I met him, and he had been in the Army, and for the last few months I had been assigned from our group to send care packages in the mail while he was deployed. So he had been receiving care packages with my name on them for months, and had determined to come home and meet this girl that's been sending him care packages. And I had no idea about this, but we had a conversation, and it was very nice, and he talked to me about my music and stuff, and I didn't really think much of it. Then he went home to his family in Michigan to visit, and he said, I think I met a girl in Tennessee. And that started a conversation. We started talking about life and our goals and what we wanted out of life. And one of my very first conversations with him was about what he wanted in life, and I shared with him that it was very important to me to wait on the person that God had created for me, and to be the right person for them. And in that same conversation, he said, you know what, that's funny because I've decided the same thing. And he hadn't dated anybody. He was just waiting for the right person that he felt like he was going to marry. And so hearing that, I thought, wow, there's hope. And also, I need to snatch this guy up before somebody else does, because he is marriage material. So that quickly became a courtship type dating relationship with the goal of getting married and just getting to know each other and our families very seriously. And he talked to my dad and got permission to date me, and we ended up dating for 4.5 years, which is a long time. I thought we would get married probably after a year or so, but God's timing is so different, and everybody's story is so different. Every timeline could look differently. So I want to encourage you, if you are waiting, don't give up, because sometimes it does not make sense in the moment, but then looking back, you realize it was all for the best. So after 4.5 years of dating, David proposed to me, and we had about a 6-month engagement. And that entire time, we saved our first kiss for our wedding. And to find the person that you're madly in love with and want to spend the rest of your life with and not be able to kiss them, kind of stings. I was like, who made up this rule? Oh, wait, that was me. And we had both decided to save our first kiss for our wedding. I think that's a beautiful thing, and I'm so glad that we did. And now that we're married, we can kiss all the time. We can kiss all that we want. And so I think that since that was our belief and that was our conviction, it was important to stick to that. And everybody has different levels of boundaries, but I think just having some boundaries is really important, and saying this is what we're going to set apart for marriage, whatever that's going to look like for you. It could be not holding hands, it could be not kissing, whatever. It doesn't have to be legalistic like that, but you know, really seek God, seek the scriptures, and seek some Christian counsel about what you need to do. And I just wanted to share from my story and tell you that the wait was so worth it. It was so worth it to meet the right person and to wait on God, and our marriage has been blessed because of it, and we are so happy together. And I can't believe that I get to grow old with him and have a family. We've been married for 2.5 years now, and we have a daughter who's about to turn 1. And we are just so thankful and so grateful for what God has done in our relationship, in our marriage, and in our family. And I want to encourage you that there are good Christian people out there that are waiting, and that the wait is so worth it. And I hope that if you are in a struggling time right now, that you would just trust in God, and that you would give it up to him and ask him to have his perfect timing in your life, and to bring the right person when you're ready and when you're the right person for them. So I hope this encourages you. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.